15 years of lies were about to collapse in a single moment. The paternity test revealed the shocking truth. Ji-ho and Kang Jae In were not biologically related. A cold silence swept through the restaurant, freezing the atmosphere. The single sheet of paper in Min Joo's hand became a weapon that shattered the fortress Kang Jae In had built for 15 years. Hwang Gi Chan sat frozen, his eyes darting between his wife collapsed on the floor and the man who delivered the devastating truth. Moments earlier, the room had been filled with warmth, but now it was pierced only by the shards of reality. Kang Jae In's face turned pale as she cried out, her desperation trembling in every word. Her pleas, instead of restoring trust, only deepened suspicion. Hwang Gi Chan's eyes shook violently as if his world had been struck by an earthquake. The thought that Ji-ho might not be his son began to take root. Watching from above, it all was Lee Tae-ho, the legendary art dealer from America. His eyes carried both the grief of losing his sister 15 years ago and the cold fury toward the impostor who had stolen her place. Under his relentless pressure, Sari finally broke down. What escaped her lips was not an excuse but tears of fear and guilt erupting into sobs. The perfect world she thought she had built was crumbling before her eyes. The tragedy had begun days earlier with a single phone call. Inside the YL Group chairman's office, the atmosphere was tense as Hwang Gi Chan struggled with news of DH Holdings' financial pressure. The group urgently needed funds, and the only lifeline left was the money laundering route through hidden gallery funds. The key to the truth was none other than Lee Tae-ho. Determined to win him over, Gi Chan ordered his staff to prepare everything: luxury hotels, extravagant gifts, and the highest level of hospitality. But at that very moment, the office door opened and Sari entered. She tried to mask her emotions, but when she heard the name Lee Tae-ho, all color drained from her face. It was a name she had buried 15 years ago, a name that carried the weight of her past sins. Soon after, Incheon Airport stirred with excitement at the arrival of a man whose every step exuded dignity. Lee Tae-ho had returned, his eyes reflecting the sorrow and longing that had never faded. In his wallet, he carried a faded photograph of his younger sister, Catherine, the only family he had lost but never stopped searching for. What drew him to Korea was not the business contract with YL Group but the faint hope of finding the sister who had disappeared like the wind. Meanwhile, the YL Group office was in chaos, preparing for his visit. Among those watching quietly was Min Joo, who recognized that Lee Tae-ho's arrival marked the beginning of something far greater. That night, in the silence of the mansion, Sari opened a worn photo album. The smiling face of the real Catherine stared back at her. Her hand shook uncontrollably as the weight of her lies pressed down, and the perfect mask she had worn for 15 years finally began to crack.
'Cause you are beautiful.